I hate doing these things.
Yet still, they must be done.
I wasn't cut out to be a diplomat, Saradar.
Nonetheless, you are the king's niece, and you must do your best for your family and your kingdom.
We shouldn't be long, Solarin. I hope. I have learned the basic spells in secret. I promise to keep my silence if you will teach me more.
You have a natural gift for magic, but as royal sorcerer, I know only too well that the responsibilities of magic and diplomacy are mutually exclusive. If they weren't, I would be the diplomat here, and you would be the sorcerer.
But...
The mission is most important. Your uncle and I have never seen such clouds as those that gather over Meridel. They are dark things and full of power. Our meeting with Queen Faerie must go well, and that responsibility falls to you.
Yes, sir. I'll do my best.
You'll do fine, Roberta. And if it helps any, maybe I'll teach you some more complicated spells while we're here.
Really?
Just one or two. But now we must hurry. It's getting late, and I'm sure Queen Faerie will want to meet with us soon.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Neopets, the Darkest Faerie. So while Tor is dealing with his own serious issues right now, we're going to take a brief period away from him to introduce, well, Roberta here. Say hello. Yeah, hello. She also does the head bob. It's all good. She is our second character that we're able to play as during the game, and now it is time for us to actually get introduced to her, seeing as we have spent a lot of time with Tor. And the place that we're going to do it with Roberta is none other than Fairyland. Pretty beautiful place, all things considered. Not as big as everything else that we've explored so far in terms of Act 1. Now we have Act 2, which is going to be considerably shorter. Let's just say, casually, you can probably get through this act in about an hour, and then you'll be on to Act 3. Yeah, if you were not sure, Act 1 is actually really, really long. Almost long enough that you kind of forget that the game has an act structure to begin with. But oh well, let's not worry about that right now. Currently, what we have with Roberta is not much. She starts off bare, except for the clover meter on the left. Starts off with the basic bare necessities of health and magic restoratives, but otherwise, we're just kind of exploring around. It's not like we're going to get into any conflict here. I will say, though, that really with Fairyland and how they constructed it in terms of the exterior shots and whatnot, I think they did a really good job with how it's portrayed overall. Again, something to be commended is the attention to detail and respect to the source material. Then again, it can't be all just like nice and pretty whatnot. I could say hello to some of the locals that are going to be around Fairyland. There are a couple stores like this one over here, which is mainly potions based. To be honest, because of the small amount of Neopoints that we start off with and very few places that we're able to get more, it's best not to actually buy some stuff at this point. Best to wait. And I'm sorry, ma'am? Up where? I'm not sure what you're meaning. Yeah, this is actually something that's really weird about this, because I guess they're technically not supposed to be able to talk to this person at this point, because really we have no idea what goal she's trying to do right now. Which is actually to get her Harris out of a tree, which at this point you can actually just go over and find at any point. This is the only point where you're actually able to just stand by the Harris and just kind of do your own thing, like, I can fly! All about the bouncing animation. Okay. There. I just want to fly, Jack. But you're in front. Get out of the way. I also match up my ears to where the hands are. Oh well, it's all good. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to get a general sense of our surroundings and where everything is and what we can actually see and what we can do. Especially seeing the cloud city that's surrounding the castle. An open area, which kind of has this weird lack of edge there. We can't jump off Fairyland if you're ever wondering. No, we can't fall off. But we can get a 12-leaf clover while we're here. It's kind of nestled into the western garden off from the castle. And then a bunch of other things, like there's doors. Most of them are locked, mainly because they're contextual based. And just to save some time, we're going to be cutting here and there in order to get across to different parts of the map. This map is pretty big because it takes about 30 seconds in order to get from one side of the map to the other. So I might as well just make use of editing in order to make things a little bit more smooth. Let's just say that. There are motes every now and again that you can pick up, mainly fog, sun, and I think there's like a wind mote here and there somewhere. But over on the eastern garden, there is golden grass, there's fairy dust, just kind of sitting around there that you might want to remember that it's actually there. Another door, which is going to be locked, as well as the second shop here, which is, well, for our nice consumables. One thing I will say about Mirkas, though, is that, let's just say they come in two flavors. One is dirty thieves, and the other one is dapper as hell. Like, my goodness. Now, the prices for all of these are pretty much similar to what we've seen before, so if you are wanting to spend some Neopoints on it, that's your decision. It's not really all that necessary, though. Do bolded text in white. It's kind of difficult to point out. Feel free to wander around. I'll come and find you eventually. There's not a lot of places you can get up to in this place. Seridar is another name that they kind of have weird spellings. Either it's Sere with a second E, or it's Seradar with an A in the middle. And now the old lady will actually talk to us about the specific thing that she's trying to get at. The weird thing, though, is that, well, she's talking about her Harris right now, which is in yonder tree. Yonder! Don't know where yonder is because you're not pointing, but problem is that after you have this conversation with this old lady, she doesn't stick around. Let's just say that. So I'm really not sure why they even made it so that you're able to talk to her before you talk to the counselor. One thing they kind of also gloss over with just this conversation here is that Roberta was just given a pendant. I'll just mention that right now. It'll come up soon enough later on in the act. But yeah, we can't go in. Not like we could anyways, because, let's just say this door is not a door. I'll explain later. But anyway, since Seradar went over to the library, which is in the Eastern Garden, and the Harris Rescue side quest is also in the Eastern section, we might as well head over there and just kind of wipe out the few side quests that are actually in Act 2. Because there's honestly not a lot, because it's so short. So, I've already shown where the Harris is. It is up in this tree that is right behind the old lady, but how are you supposed to get up there? Well, it actually comes down to small observations of something that is glinting off in the distance. Specifically, the vines. The other thing you can look for in terms of climbing trees or getting into other places in the map that you might not be able to get to is if trees are all of a sudden just sticking to weird parts of buildings that surround it, chances are there is going to be some way in order to get up there. Now, the only thing you really need to do in order to get to the Harris is that you need to get over and actually make contact with them. And that will allow you to actually stop. So they give you a little bit of leeway in order to actually catch the Harris. You don't have to be standing on the branch in order to get him down. So, in this case, not only do we get the pendant from her, but we get a potion of power out of it too. That's handy. Especially when a couple other ways that we're able to do this quest, sometimes we can just fall off right off of the branch. That happened before. So now we're just kind of standing in the river anyways. And the old lady will just head over to the other stairs on the opposite side of the map. Or the stairs to the door, I should say. If we go over there, she's not there, which is strange. But, oh well, the old lady's gone, I guess. Anyway, Seradar headed into the library, which means that it's actually open to us, Fiora's library. An area that is incredibly frustrating, let's just say that. It is another, again, beautiful area with a lot of stuff going on inside of it, including multiple elevators and the chance to actually get onto multiple floors of the library to just kind of see what's up. And this desk is way too wide for me to talk to the librarian, so I just get to plant myself right on top of the table and demand that you speak to me. The first thing is, well, the librarian says the second floor is out of bounds to us. Which is actually told to us in two ways. There's a staircase over there, as well as all of these elevators that are going along the bookshelves here. They don't come down low enough for you to actually make any use of them whatsoever. Like, it's great that they actually put in some time in order to make these movable, but it's such a shame that they're not interactable. Like, if I knew anything about PS2 business, I'd probably be able to hack it and just to see what's actually up there, especially when they made a staircase and they put in a barrier alongside of it in order to make sure that you couldn't go up it. That's even worse. So we're kind of trapped on the first floor and we have less to explore. Mainly we're just talking with the locals that are actually here. Not so much locals as just kind of random people who are just kind of here. It's hard to discern with the Fairyland atmosphere who actually lives here and who's like on a trip from other places in the world to get to here. Also another door that leads to, well, let's just say the endless starry case. Starry case. It's foreign, it's magical. It's good. Jensine. Some of these names I've actually never looked at deep enough in order to just kind of understand them. But it certainly is a name that I've never heard of before.
Aha!
You. Oh, with a K. Okay.
Woohoo!
Yeah, for instance, he won a contest. And he was abducted to come up here.
Hooray!
So in terms of the rest of the video, the whole point of coming into the library is actually to talk to Saradar, but we're going to take the rest of the time of this video to actually look over all of the books that we're able to read, because some of them are really interesting and new and foreshadow future events in the game, like the Nameless Assassin here. It's kind of something to remember. A lot of these times, the books here are the only ways of getting any sort of context behind characters or bits of information. The Black Knight, you get to hear about how he was a defender of Meridel, and it's kind of connected, almost pretty much surely connected to the Black Keep that we saw back in Act 1, including things we haven't even seen yet, like the Serpent of Bogshot Swamp. Castralis. And then we have the Fairy Queen, Fiora. Not really a fan of her. She pretty much just kind of holds herself up and only listens to petitioners, which is an interesting change of action that she wants to make. I'm sure we've seen the Illison book before, which talks about the Go Home Dogglefox, about the Wereloop King being turned into one. And then we have the Portals of the Lost Ones, which made me think, when I first read the book, that there was going to be like a fast travel system in the game, but that's not really the case. Either that, or I haven't looked hard enough in the future of the game in order to just kind of see if anything was amiss. But again, information to just kind of keep in the back of your head for later. As well as interesting premonitions of just other things that might be around, like the Hidden Tower. Fables and legends and myths. I think we've seen the the Endless Staircase before, but it's more important that this book is actually here in Fairyland. And some of these we've definitely seen before. And then we get to pretty much the basic ones anyways, going over the moat stuff that are around the central area of the library. 2 of these are old. 1 of these are new, like the magic wands and how to actually make one. It's going to be very important very, very soon, let's just say that. And then, of course, on the nature of moats. And then there's this one book that was over here that was kind of difficult.